make a big difference.
All right, Sham. So take us away with the what I think was some of our best performance this season in midfield.
So
take it away.
I might need your help going through some of the fringe players, but I'll go through the bulk of the players in midfield. So
do the big ones first.
Yeah, with Pogba, I think Pogba obviously didn't play before the COVID outbreak and the COVID break. Played very well afterwards. I've given him a 7 purely because I think he's got another gear in him. Like some of the scores you gave, like Williams, for example, perhaps expectations are a bit lower, so he scores a bit higher. I think with Pogba, like his expectations are probably, bar Bruno at the moment, his expectations are probably the highest of anyone at the club. So did well when he played, but played no way
Absolutely
near
agree.
enough. So that's a 7.
Absolutely agree.
Marta's an interesting one. I gave him a 6 because I think that he did well when called upon, but I think that he's only really going to be able to play against sort of lower quality opposition. He needs to find that spark that got him, the season that he had at Chelsea that got him over to United. He's nowhere near that player.
37 games this year, though, Sham. He played a lot.
Played a lot of games, particularly in the Europa, and I think that his quality on the ball, if United are going to become that side that like to get the ball on the edge of the box and flick it around and all that, I think he does have a role, potentially replacing Bruno at times off the bench and trying to, or playing with Bruno and trying to get balls in and around that area. But his best days are behind him. I think he's 32. He's got 1 year left on the contract. They might just let that run out and say, thank you very much for your service.
Someone made, just to that point of Mata, don't mean to interrupt, but someone said a respectful thing to do would actually get a fee out of him as a kind of way to show that he's steered the club through some troubled times, and I think he deserves a bit of a fee out of him rather than just running out the contract. So I saw this on Twitter.
It might even depend on what he wants. They may even go to him and say, what do you want? Do you want to do that service and walk away, or do you want to go for the fee? I mean, Peter Schmeichel, they waived the transfer fee for him when he left United. It's a similar sort of thing. Oh,
right.
Yeah, okay. Fergie said that he can go and they're not going to ask for a fee.
Wow, okay.
So that sort of thing, I know what you mean. But the best answer to that might be, what do you want to do? A 1? That sort of thing.
Sorry, go on.
Next 2 I had were Lingard and Pereira. I've given them both a 3. I think given what they were asked to do in the team, I thought that they were nowhere near the mark. Ironically, that resulted in United buying Fernandes. But I think Pereira, should go. I think for the betterment of his career, he's probably even behind Marta at the moment. I don't think he played very, very little post the COVID, which is an indication of where he is. Lingard is a bit stickier purely because he's a youth product. I actually think he should go, but he may want to stay. So that's kind of, maybe you give him that extra chance. And he has a specific role that can be used at times. He's good at playing against better teams and providing pressure and winning the ball. That goal he scored against Leicester is the most Jesse Lingard thing I've ever seen. The ball, scoring the tap in. But he's not a Juan Mata type number 10. He's not a Bruno type number 10. You keep him if he's maybe got a role, maybe a bit more loyal because he's a youth player, but 3 for both of those. Fred, I've given a 7. I think it's a good 7. I think he did well when he played. He definitely developed as a player. I still don't think that he will get into United's best 11. So he's going to be a squad player. There are perhaps clubs that might be able to use his skills better, but I still think United need to hold on to him in the absence of other alternatives. I would only sell him if you got his market value for him. I wouldn't get rid of him. But he offers, again, something unique in terms of a bit like Kante light. Like, he intercepts the ball, he runs with it, he can get others involved in the game. He's something a little different. I've got Bruno.
Can I just interject there with Fred? I don't actually agree with you. I think Fred's best performances, like against PSG last season, it's eluding me right now. It's a bit early in the morning, but I think his best performances are better than, let's say, Matic's general season. Like, he's had better performances than Matic's best, but his worst performances are just dreadful.
I agree with that.
I think there is a place for him in the 11 with that. If he can kind of just bring that consistency, bring that level up. So I don't see him playing in
Matic's role, and I don't see him playing in Pogba's role. So the way the formation is now, he could play. Pogba gets injured, bring him in, no worries. But I don't think he's an anchor midfielder, and I don't think he's I don't think he's better than Pogba. So that's kind of why I said.
Yeah, no, he's not. Definitely not.
But there's definitely a role for him. but he
I think
offers
there's a
a bit
role
like
for
Jesse,
him.
offers something different. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying there's something about Fred. I like
I like
something
him
that
a
he
lot.
brings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Um,
sometimes it's just sometimes and he played quite well with McTominay as well.
yeah.
There's
That
certain
little.
occasions where I think he's very useful, but
Yeah.
it's a bit like Nicky Butt, like a really good player, but is he better than Keane or
Yeah.
Scholes? No. And Fred's sort of in
Fair
that
enough.
situation
Fair
for
enough.
me.
That's
Yeah.
a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Carry on.
Next, I had Bruno. Bruno,
Yep.
amazingly, I think it was, I wrote it down and
Let's
I
run through
lost
the
it.
stats. Can I just run through the stats before you give?
Yeah.
So Bruno, 24 years old, just handsome as fuck. 22 games, 21 starts, played by 1,800 minutes, 12 goals, 8 assists. Jesus Christ, Sean.
Hmm.
That is just that's just
In the
poetry.
league, he was fourth top scorer. Admittedly, he takes penalties, but he was the fourth top scorer. Played the least games out of anyone who scored a goal, by the way.
Yeah,
for United, and also the equal top assist provider with Rashford.
just gorgeous. And what's your rating for him?
I gave him a 9. I felt
You're
like
a
giving
10.
him I felt like giving him a 10, but he didn't play full season, so no one's perfect, and he's got a
But he
high
was
level to go. And
all
he
right,
was
Fred.
a
Oh,
little
look.
fatigued at times, like everyone else.
Yeah,
10 to
towards
me
the
is
end. Yeah,
10, I'm like 10 to me is perfection. Like 10 is almost
yeah,
impossible.
yeah,
But Bruno did very, very well. Just ran out of
yeah.
gas a little bit, and obviously, I think not playing the full season. Although, when I looked at the stats, I started like, as much as I felt Bruno had played well, it deepened that feeling for me looking at the stats and how he performed
Mm-hmm.
that season. So a good
Mm-hmm.
9, but yeah, 10 to me
Mm-hmm.
is like you know. Like maybe one player gets it in, maybe one or two players get it in the league over the whole season type of thing. Like I'm that type of guy when it comes to 10s, but I know what you mean.
Like a Van Dijk last season would be close to a 10, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
like there may be the 5 or 6 players nominated for player of the season that's somewhere close to a 10. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Fair enough.
I got next. I've got James. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying actually. I'll go McTominay first. McTominay I also gave a 7.
Sorry, yeah, yep.
I think he had a good season. I think United are still struggling a bit to figure out his best role. I think they want
Yeah.
him to be a square peg in a round hole in terms of playing Matish's position. I'm not sure that's his best position. Maybe it
Yep.
is, but I do think that he's shown growth. I think he's got more growth. I think being a local boy, the fans absolutely love him. I think he had a good season. There's question marks over, I think, whether he could slot into the best 11 long term. He's not there at the moment. I do think that the next couple of years in his career are going to be crucial to see whether he becomes,
Yeah.
Steve Gerrard or whatever level below that. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
with
he could be
McTominay.
Steven Gerrard, but you just never know.
Yeah, with McTominay, his athleticism is his biggest downfall because he actually started off as a striker in the academy, and then he moved back to number 10. And then let's say from number 10, he got put into the Mourinho squad, and he was just suddenly a centre back against God knows who. And then, his kind of versatility and his willingness to do anything for the team. In some sense, he's a better John O'Shea. So I think that will be his downfall in the future if he doesn't specialize. Like Paul Pogba would never say, I'm playing centre back. I think sometimes you have to take a stance for yourself and just go like, I'm not the guy who's going to plug holes. So
yeah,
that's what
maybe he
McTominay
needs
has
to. Yeah, like you said, maybe he needs to be a little bit selfish and one-eyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
To become better as a player. Everybody has to. Everyone has their own lessons. That's probably his lesson. Yeah. So I'll just move to the front line. So Daniel James gave him a 6.5. I think he started well but petered out. But I think that was always going to happen. I think they overused him at times, and probably show the lack of depth that we had. Lost that incredible pace. I didn't lose the incredible pace, but they just didn't quite see it as often. I think with the break, I think with the understanding of his role, I think that with guys like Greenwood and Igalo helping out, he's going to play less and be more of an impact player. I like him. I don't think he'll be a club great, but I do like him, and I think he has a role in the club next year. Rashford's the next one for me. I've given him a 9, not as high a 9 as Bruno, but a 9. He's had the best season of his career.
22 goals, 9 assists.
Yeah,
very good, very good, very good.
And he's shown he can score goals. He's shown he can set up goals. He's shown his classiness and athleticness. And he also
I just want to add to that as well.
And also showed Boris Johnson where to shove it. So yeah.
I just want to add as well that he actually got excuse me, he actually made 7 penalties as well for the team. Just looking at these stats here. So
As in created.
As in he got 7 fouls for penalties for us. So yeah, that's. I mean, goals are goals, you know.
That's amazing. It's quite a lot for one. I think that's a third of all United's penalties as well. That's quite a lot. Yeah. So 7 for him. 9 for him. Igalo, I think if you're looking at league versus Europa, probably a bit like Romero, 6 in the league and 8 in Europa.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be played a bit more. I don't think Ole seems to only like playing in certain circumstances. I think he offers against certain teams in certain conditions a massive point of difference. He needs those skills used a bit more because he can bring the ball to his chest, bring it down, and bring all of the speedy players into play, as opposed to having an outlet where you bang it over the top. I think he's had his seasons. He's proven everybody wrong, but it's kind of like that's it. Like, what else is there? I think there is more, but he needs the game time. I think that score could actually go up overall because I think that there's something there that we haven't really tapped into enough.
Well, Sham, 5 goals in 612 minutes. So that's about 120 minutes a goal.
20 minutes a goal.
That's a game and a half. That's decent, man.
That's very good. Yeah.
That's more than decent, really. That's very good.
But you have a point. Well that it's 5 goals in half a season as well. So is that their expectation for him? I think he could get 10 to 15 goals next season in a full season. I think that's what there should be. I mean, he won't have a full season at the moment because the loan goes till Jan. I do think the club will try and push it to the end of the season.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, he's not going to start. He's not of the same caliber as that front three, but there's a definite role for him at the club, and I think a bit almost like that Teddy Sheringham type player. That he could become. So that's my score for him. Greenwood, I've given an 8. I think that his development was amazing. I think, like I've said before, he's a generational talent. Had one of the best seasons that a teenager's ever had. I think it's Rooney best and Greenwood was equaled the record for the most goals by a teenager.
Yeah.
I think it was 17. Yeah. What's his number of goals? Is it 17?
So it's 17 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah. So he's so that equals the record for United teenager with those two who are decent players. And I think they've managed his progression very well. I think Solskjaer, being a forward, knows how to get the best out of him. And he's been played out of position. He's not a right winger, and he's still done all of that. So long term, I think that he could become United's number 9. How they manage that with Martial and Igalo next season will be interesting, and how they manage that with Martial long term will be interesting as well. An 8, but like a good 8, not a scraping 8, a good 8. Martial's the last one I've got here, and I've given him a 9. Again, a bit like Rashford had his best season. United loaned Sanchez and sold Lukaku, and it was expected that Rashford and Martial needed to produce their best seasons, and they have. He looks like a centre forward now.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Playing centre forward. I think that he's grown, he's developed as a player. I think that trident of Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood would scare the bejesus out of a lot of Premier League defenders. And there's potential to use properly to create havoc. So that I did more of the players who got massive game time. I don't know if there's anyone else that you wanted to focus on.
I just want to special mention to 3 players who I quite like, and I think they're one of the well-known academy graduates in James Garner. James Garner is these are all I put them all in the category of 6.5s, just because they played okay. So I don't want to give them too much credit, but I think they're definitely there for the future. So if James Garner, who's very much like a Michael Carrick kind of character, again, great range of passing, quite tall, very athletic. He's white, by the way, he's like, he has this calmness about him that I actually was talking to my friend Paddy last night, and we were talking about Owen Hargreaves and Carrick, how they're quite similar. They tried to get a replacement for Roy Keane, but they got Michael Carrick and Hargreaves, and they both did great jobs as well. And James Garner is of that ilk. So I give him a 6. He played 6 games, fairly decent. If Dylan Levitt played the 1 game against Astana, again, I give him a 6 just because, again, credit for playing for United. Position? So he's kind of a terrier in midfield, that kind of player. He's a Gattuso or, again, a Roy Keane type of player. kind of very short range of passing, gets the ball, gives it away, gives the ball, gives it away. You probably see it in a Kante as well these days. I just want to highlight him. I think he's going to be good. Ryan Giggs has kind of sung his praises as well. And Tai Chong. Probably a 7. Look, 19 games. 12 games, 2 assists. Didn't get to play much. Whenever he did play, always causing problems. He'd usually come on the left or right wing. He's going to Werder Bremen on loan. And I think there's not many places better you can go in the German league for a loan, like as in a Premier League.
Yeah, German leagues like playing youngsters. I don't think we should expect him to turn into Sancho in one season. Even Sancho took a couple of seasons to get to where he is. But it's a good club, Werder Bremen. You can do a lot worse than
Tai Chong reminds me a lot of a Kai Havertz kind of winger. Quite tall, lanky, not so much a Jadon Sancho. Like, he's very kind of cultured, more than Sancho, who's quite... the way Sancho plays reminds you of Steve Coppell from back in the day, like just straight, like Ryan Giggs, just straight line speed. Like, it's incredible what he can do. And then now you add the kind of trickery that's in the football today as well with Sancho. But I hope Tai Chong, of all those three, actually I hope all three do well. I think they all have a place in the team if they develop accordingly. But Chongi for me is a bit more short. Like, I can see him developing in the next 2 years to come back. So yeah.
We've had 2 youngsters break in. So Williams and Greenwood have broken in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Chong obviously went next year,
But you've got Garner, you've got Levitt, you've got Mengi, you've got who's the other ones that you mentioned? Was it right back there as well?
Ethan Laird.
Ethan Laird, yeah. So who do you think potentially could get some opportunities next year in the cup?
I'd put Tuanzebe in there just because he barely played this season. He's had a horrific injury. For me, I think Tuanzebe is the future captain of United. I think if he gets his shit together, I think he pairs Maguire.
Is he quick? Like pre-injury, was he a quick player?
Oh yeah. So he
because that would work well with Maguire.
He was
a bit of leadership there to go with Maguire. Yeah.
Him and Tyrone Mings when they were at Aston Villa two seasons ago, like when Aston Villa were coming up. John Terry was kind of directly coaching him, and you know, as much as we hate John Terry, he's probably the best defender the league's ever seen, if not the second best. So he's had some good tutelage, and Maguire wouldn't be a bad kind of second option for being a teacher as well. So I think Tuanzebe is there, man. He's like on the cusp of something big, and he just needs to get his knee right. I hate to see him become like a Ledley King, just kind of wasted away talent, you know, just ravaged with his knee injury.
Was a proper player, just kept getting injured.
I mean, if there was ever a player who could have been the best ever, it was Ledley King. Yes, but look, for me, of those players, if it's not Tuanzebe, it's very hard for me to pick, man. But if I had like a kind of personal preference, I'd love to see Ghana take up that mantle, become like a generational midfielder. Maybe not a world class, but that guy who's like, he's going to give us a 7.5 every game, 7.5. And sometimes you just need those kind of players, you know, to just play every game and just grind out results. But yeah. Anyway, season starts in 2 weeks, is it? 6 plus? No, 3 weeks. Jesus, I'm excited. I'm so excited.
But yeah, so fretful, actually, I feel like our inactivity in the transfer market's going to cost us. I really like to see people come in.
I just mean generally excited for football to start again.
Well, it's been a long time since it's finished, right? So
yeah, I mean the season should have started. It's kind of funny. The season should have started by now. Second week of August always. Yeah. We got Charity Shield this weekend. Good game. I'd love to see Arsenal do something against Liverpool. There's a good feeling around Arsenal at the minute. They made a signing. They won the FA Cup. You just never know. Liverpool should probably win though. Anyway, and then on Thursday we're going to do the Hall of Fame, Premier League Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So we're going to decide how we want to do that, but it should be interesting. I think we both would have quite similar views. So I'm going to take the contrarian view on Thursday. I think I'll take the...
Going to play devil's advocate, are you?
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate on Thursday, yeah. Anyway, are you good, Sean? Anything else?
Yeah, I actually pulled up, I was doing the stats and I pulled up a funny stat for United. So in the Premier League, 14 United players have been sent off multiple times, right?
Okay.
So 1-4. So 7 of them got 2 cards. So that
Is this in the history of the
this
Premier
is in the
League?
history of the EPL.
Okay.
So Nani, Andy Cole, Wayne Rooney, Johnny Evans, Fellaini, Gary Neville, and Raphael. So they've been sent off twice, right?
Okay.
So if you look at, there's 7 more players who've been sent off 3 or more times, right?
Okay.
So I'll give you 5. So the winner's Keane on 7.
Yeah.
Vidic on 6.
Yeah, 5 against Liverpool, probably.
Yeah, 5 against 5.5 against Liverpool. Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, and Darren Fletcher.
Okay.
So who are the other 2?
Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo. That shocked me. 4 red cards for United in 6 seasons.
I thought it was 3.
It was 4. Like in 6 seasons, he got 4 red cards. That's like for a player. And they always said Rooney had temperament problems, you know, and he had 2.
Okay. I have one in my head. Oh, it's so unlikely, but is it David Beckham?
No.
Is it in that era?
I'll give you a hint.
The King. Fellaini.
No.
Position?
You said the King. Go with that.
Oh, okay. So the King.
Yeah, but just Rooney shocked. Ronaldo shocked me like 4 times because the narrative was always around Wayne Rooney being the temperamental one and had to calm himself down and all of this sort of thing. Yeah. And then you see Ronaldo had double the red cards in half the time. You know.
Now I'll give you a crazier stat. Nah, fuck it if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly sure I'm right. That Pepe has never gotten a red card in his career at Real Madrid.
He did once.
Did he? Just the once.
No, there's one time. I know one time he did. Basically, he was the ball was coming in the 6-yard box. He was wrestling with a fella, threw him to the ground, kicked the ball into him, and then just kicked him repeatedly until he got sent off. Like he literally kicks the guy on the ground like as hard as he can and gets sent off. I'll send you a video of it, but it is brutal. Like literally kicks the guy while he's on the ground.
I'm completely wrong. Hold on.
Not as many as Ramos, 24.
Wait, hold on. We're going to just sort this out before we finish the video. We're going to split this video in 2 as well. This is a long one, but it's had a lot of fun. Oh, right. Okay, no, I read that wrong. 3 red cards in the league. I take it back.
3 still pretty small.
I must have read fake news.
That's as many as Darren Fletcher. I thought it would be somewhere closer to 23, to be honest. But imagine playing against him and Ramos. Oh my God! If you watch some of those Classico videos of Eto'o and Henry and Messi, and they're just like they pass bang, by Ramos.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Especially I remember the Mourinho Pep Classicos. Like the build up that week was like, and because it wasn't in my social media, so it was like good news you're reading, and it's just like barbs flying back at each other in the press conference, and then I remember it was the best like some of the best derbies.
Yeah.
Watching those 2 play. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, on that note, thanks for watching, guys. It's a long video for this one. So we looked at obviously all the players and their ratings, and I'm excited for next season. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always,
keep passing. Take care,
see you later, guys.